Impact of time horizon on bias of life year in a Markov model. This presentation is based on our publication titled as Comparison of the Expected Rewards Between Probabilistic and Deterministic Analyses in a Markov Model. I thank my co-authors. We conducted a simulation study to assess the bias and accuracy of probabilistic versus deterministic analysis in a Markov model. We considered three scenarios with different cohort sizes. N equals 100 as weak evidence, N equals 500 as moderate evidence, and N equals 2000 as strong evidence. Results of this simulation study were presented in this table. Although the simulation generated unbiased estimates of transition probabilities, both deterministic and probabilistic analysis overestimated the reward. Further, the probabilistic analysis is associated with larger bias and mean square error than the deterministic analysis. The bias and mean square error reduced as the sample size of the binomial data increased. When the hypothetical cohort size was large, 2000, in the case of strong clinical evidence, the bias in both analyses was small. However, when the sample size of the hypothetical cohort was 100, in the case of relatively weak evidence, the bias in both analyses was large. In particular, the bias in the probabilistic analysis was even larger. We used a simulation study to evaluate the impact of time horizon on bias of life year in a Markov model. Time horizon may substantially impact the cost-effectiveness in economic evaluations. Wisloff and colleagues reviewed cost-utility studies published in 2010 and found the magnitude of Cowley gained was strongly associated with the time horizon. The mean Cowley gained was 0.04, 0.17, and 0.43 for studies with a time horizon of is less than or equal to 1 year, between 1 and 5 years, and greater than 5 years, respectively. Kim's review found that for studies with multiple time horizons, the extension of the time horizon yielded more favorable cost-effectiveness results. Currently, most economic evaluation guidelines recommend applying a long-term time horizon to capture the long-term cost and effectiveness. However, the accuracy of outcomes derived probabilistically in a long-term model versus a short-term model has not been well investigated. We conducted a simulation study to examine the impact of time horizon on bias for life years in a Markov model. The simulation study showed that bias dramatically increases as the time horizon increases. This figure shows the reward for different time horizons, the number of Markov cycles. In brief, the bias, which is the difference in reward between the deterministic or probabilistic analysis and the true value, dramatically increases as the time horizon increases. Note that the increase is not proportional. Given a time horizon of 20 cycles, the biases from the deterministic and probabilistic analyses were 0.19 and 0.38, respectively. Given 50 cycles, the biases were 1.57 and 2.91, respectively, and given 100 cycles, the biases were 3.73 and 7.21, respectively. In summary, when the evidence is weak, a Markov model run over the long term is often associated with large bias and overestimates the reward. Thank you.